I will always firmly say that one of the biggest issues we face within the black community is 100% financial literacy. And here is a clear example of why I believe it is the case.
Howard just dropped a bombshell. She says the $1 million Anthony Edwards gave her for child support is gone. Every last dollar. Yep, the Timberwolves star didn't want the drama of monthly payments. So instead of $5,000 a month for 18 years, he just handed her a clean million up front. No strings, no fights. Sounds smart, right? Until now. Aisha claims she invested part of the money into a business venture that failed, and now she's asking for more cash, saying it's for the child's well-being. But fans are not buying it. Because let's do the math. That $1 million was supposed to last nearly 2 decades. That's over $4,600 every month until the kid turns 18. So the real question is, how do you burn through that kind of money in just a few years? People online are furious, saying she treated the child's fund like a startup loan. One commenter put it perfectly. That wasn't seed money. That was diaper money. Meanwhile, Anthony hasn't said a word. But some fans are saying maybe it's time he gets full custody because the mom clearly can't manage the money. No matter how you look at it, this whole situation proves one thing. $1 million might sound like forever, but in the wrong hands, it disappears fast. Aisha.
Now, whether we like it or not, $1 million is a lot of money. I know you have a lot of people online saying, oh, a million isn't a lot, it's not really going to do much, etc. And they're coming from a perspective where you can't necessarily just retire for a million, especially with inflation when you're living in the UK or maybe living in the US, etc. Right? But with $1 million, it's more money than most people have even seen, not only in this lifetime, but ever in history. In fact, we're in the richest time in history. You know, people are becoming billionaires every single day. You know what I mean? People are becoming millionaires every single day. People are becoming six-figure earners every single day. So there is a balance there. But back to the point, a million is a lot of money. And this million was given from, of course, Anthony Edwards to the mother of his kids. I don't want to say baby mum because I believe within our community we kind of need to detach from those type of words, in my personal opinion, right? It was given over to the mother of his kid in order to make sure that the kid has a decent life all the way up until 18. What has happened? The mother took the money and what did she do? She spent it. She took it as basically a startup loan, put it into a business that was a failure. Some people in the comments are basically saying she went and got a BBL or whatever. To be honest, I'm not really too sure. I wasn't really paying attention to her and all this type of stuff before this type of news anyway. So let me know down in the comments whether that's true or not. Doesn't really matter anyways. But some people said that she went and invested into things like a BBL, obviously, and just living a luxurious lifestyle, which of course is a fact. How in a couple years you just spend a million? Like, how does that happen? The only reason why it happens is because within our culture we do not have financial literacy. We're on the whole vibe of like, you know what, when I make money, what's the first thing we're gonna do? I say it all the time. When anyone makes money, you're gonna spend it. Especially when you haven't come from an environment of money and actually understanding the power of money and understanding how to actually manage your expense, etc. And when you look at other successful communities, what do? They don't live lavish lifestyles. Majority of the people that I know that are very successful with their businesses from other cultures, you would never ever be able to tell. Never. Do you know what I mean? They have no drip. They have no swag. They're probably not driving the best car, depending on whether, you know, cars are their thing or not. But they might have a timepiece on their wrist. They're gonna definitely have investments in the background, you know, stocks and assets and different things like that. Property, for example. But what do? The first thing we're doing when we get money is straight away, I need a car. Straight away, I need to update my wardrobe. Straight away, I need to do A, B, and C in order to basically show people that, low, I'm lit now. Do you know what I mean? And this lady has now put her child in such a predicament where, of course, I know the father's not just going to be like, you know what, that's you guys' issue. I hope not. Anyway, I hope he doesn't do like a future on them. But she's basically left her child in a predicament where if that was the case, they're screwed. Do you know what I mean? And why is that? Because of the lack of financial discipline, the lack of financial literacy within the community. We're on this vibe of like, as soon as I spend it, as soon as I get it, rather, I need to spend it. And that mentality is the reason as to why we're, one of the poorest when it comes to this entire thing. Besides, obviously, other reasons, what's happened in history and stuff like that. Like, I had a video on this channel that I dropped literally 2 days ago, and it's gotten a couple thousand views talking about how, for example, the black community, there was once a point in time where after, for example, in America, right, after slavery, they eventually built their own economy. They had, a tight family unit, etc., and it was dismantled, it was destroyed, which was historical fact. Do you know what I mean? So there's so many things that put, people from our type of culture behind. But at the same time, I always say that when we actually look at it, we're very, very powerful, because how is it that you've been disadvantaged for so long in history and you still get people making it, becoming millionaires, getting property, doing this, doing that? It is amazing. Do you know what I mean? As a testament to ourselves. So I always come from that standpoint, but you need to also acknowledge what we've been through, in the past. And when I say we, I also got Americans saying, British people can't talk. And for those that don't understand how this world works, America at the current moment is the world's leader. Anything that happens in America will eventually reflect into everywhere else. So it affects people in the UK as well. And also, whatever happens in America as well is correlated with what will happen in the UK as well, especially when it comes to, black people as well, people of, ethnic minorities. So bear that in mind and get yourself educated, man, please. Anyways, so that lack of financial literacy is the reason why she's in this position. You know what I mean? And at what point do we keep on seeing people make these mistakes and do this and do that and do this and do that? F around and fumble the bag, and they're basically back to square one. At what point do we say to ourselves, you know what, we need to do better? Makes no sense. But before I even carry on, let's actually hear what other people have to say about this.
I thought I said she wasn't gonna be complaining, but to spend the whole 1 million, she didn't do that. Don't be lying to me. How long it's been? The baby ain't even a year old yet. Spent the million. That was for 18 years. The hell she buy? Damn. Let me do my research. You gotta be lying to me.
And the thing is it's been less than a year. Some people are saying that in the comments it's only been 7 months, 7 months. How do you spend $1 million in 7 months, bro? How? Like, what are you buying? What are you actually buying? Especially because the money is not meant for you, it's meant for your kid. What is a kid doing? Like, the kid's not probably even, like, by the time the daughter gets to to 18, like, she's probably gonna be like mom, like, that's what you did, like. It makes no sense, and she's asking for more as well. Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous, mate.
Edwards asked the court if he can pay $2 million in child support up front. He wants to pay $2 million up front because he wants nothing to do with Aisha Howard and their daughter. Do you understand the level of, I don't want to deal with this? That is, there's men out there that don't want to pay $80 a month in child support. That man wants to pay $2 million up front. Okay? Because he wants no parts. He told her, I don't want a baby.
And also, this is the first time, right, I'm actually seeing ladies hold other ladies accountable at a large scale. Of course, you're going to have that happen in different subjects and different subject matters. But for example, let's say, for example, in the UK, what happened with the Victoria Everest situation, where she was literally caught lying about something like SA and something like grape, for example. And you had ladies defending that, which is crazy. But again, I'm not here to do the whole man versus lady kind of thing. But what I am here to say is that at least the community has woken up and said, you know what, this is out of order. Do you know what I mean? At least we can all agree on the fact that this is out of order.
Told her get an abortion, but because he has money, she still had that baby. Now her
And that's the sad reality. Yeah, I'm gonna let it play, but that's a sad reality. She had the kid because not because she loved the kid, not because of any other reason other than the fact that, look, she knew she hit the lick. She knew that obviously child support was going to come through and it would change her life. But it only changed her life for 7 months. But guess what? Those 7 months that you splashed this million is now going to literally affect your daughter for the next 18, if not for foreseeable future. If the father doesn't come around and be like, you know what, I'm actually going to take my daughter into custody and do this and do that. Bearing in mind, he didn't want her in the first place, which is, again, a sad situation. But this is part of the reason why our community is failing at the current moment. Because, again, we don't have unity. In fact, they say that one of the biggest reasons as to why we're actually lacking financially as well is because we don't actually have, married couples coming together and building family units, and building those family units. Of course, that's where you're actually able to see more wealth coming together, because it's two incomes coming together to pay off the bills, build a financial future, etc. This is all statistical data as well. Do you know what I mean? So anyone watching this, please, 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 let's start building families, man. Let's stop this whole like single parent stuff and like, I understand it's part of the culture. I have a lot of friends and cousins and stuff like that that have come from that. It's part of the culture at the current moment. But for the next generation, we 100% need to change that narrative, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Daughter is gonna grow up without a father. She's gonna grow up and she's gonna see all of this drama, and she's gonna know basically my mom had me for $2 million. And my dad wants no parts. I'm never gonna get to know my siblings. Do you know the trauma that girl is going to deal with? Do you know how she's gonna let men treat her because of her daddy?
And that's the thing, man. It's like we're just continuing this cycle. Like, let's. So sorry, guys, man. This is really pissing me off. I can't lie to you.
Issues like Aisha Howard, is $2 million really worth your child's peace of mind? I guess it is, but Anthony Edwards said, yep, here's your money, good riddance, never want to see y'all again. Toodaloos. This shit is crazy, y'all. Like, this shit is crazy, and he has no shame, and he just wants nothing to do with it, and he wants to move on, and he wants to live his life. Is she gonna take it though? Because you see, it's easier to run through money in a lump sum. But if she's getting monthly payments, she'll probably have better money management. So,
And what he did on his part from a financial aspect, I can't lie, it makes a lot of sense, because he just front loaded all of the payments. You know what I mean? He said, you know what? Instead of paying you per month, also you got to realize that a lot of athletes, I believe that majority of athletes, they actually go broke within the first like 3 to 5 years or so. After their career, by the way, after they retire. So he's like, look, whilst the money's still here, I want to make sure to actually pay you guys off. I can't necessarily guarantee that the career is going to be flourishing like that. And obviously he has the money to kind of pay it off. Do you know what I mean? But outside of that, there are so many issues that we have here. You know what I mean? So many issues that we have here. And it's one of those ones where we have to hold the mother accountable and be like, look, what you did here is a wrong one. Do you get it? I definitely believe the daughter should be given to the father as well if he wants to take her. And yeah, this just needs to literally stop completely, man.
oh, let's see what's gonna happen. But so far, that man just wants nothing to do with it, and that is just so sad. Anthony.
But yeah, my people, it's one of them ones, man. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think, whether you agree or disagree with anything I've said. Make sure to like for engagement. We're looking to actually build up this channel. You guys are seeing the growth, man. And you're seeing that obviously these topics, you guys are starting to love them. So I said, you know what? Let's start discussing things outside of this music, etc. Outside of that, make sure to follow. We're building this channel all the way to the moon. I post every single day around in just different topics that I'm interested in, and also giving an educational standpoint or just my opinion, you know what I mean, and how we can actually grow and push the culture forward. When I say the culture, I'm saying black culture, I'm saying urban culture, etc. Because we need wealth within this community. We need more people actually taking action to actually build it and do all these type of things. So when we keep on seeing stuff like this, it doesn't do anything for us, you know what I mean? Especially this new generation, bro, we need to do better. You feel me? If you want to work with me as well, all my links are down below. So make sure to click that. I'll see you guys in the next one.